Topic religion. So yesterday we were discussing about a few anthropological approaches in the study of religion. Anthropological approaches in the study of religion. We have discussed in length about the evolutionary approach. Evolutionary approach. So good. Yale Shirman is a boy. Nice man. Keep one thing in mind. We are just discussing an approach in the study of religion, and it is not the culture theory. So in chapter number 6, we will discuss in length about classical evolutionism. Soon we'll be starting that. Maybe in another 2 or 3 lectures, we'll be starting that. Okay. Classical evolutionism by E.B. Taylor, Lewis Henry Morgan, and James Fraser. Diffusionism, even functionalism. Functionalism in length about Malinowski and the functional school of thought. Radcliffe Brown and his structural functionalism. We'll discuss that in length. Now we are not discussing culture theory. We are discussing the topic religion. Because few students had a doubt and they asked me, sir, is it all about classical evolutionism? I told you it is not classical evolutionism. It is just the evolutionist approach in the study of religion. About classical evolutionism in chapter number 6. We will discuss in length. Okay, fine. So we have discussed about this evolutionary approach. Evolutionary approach, where we discussed about the contribution of approach given by E.B. Taylor and James Fraser. Guys, is there any doubt in rules of magic? Rules of magic like law of similarity, law of contact, law of similarity, law of contact, etc., etc. I hope you should be comfortable with all those things. So now let us discuss the functionalist approach in the study of religion. There is one culture school, and that culture school was founded by Malinowski. Bronislaw if you say Malinowski or whatever may be the thing. He was a great anthropologist, and he gave the functionalist approach, or he gave the functional school of thought in culture. According to them, every aspect of culture has some function. Before that, let me brief you. We keep discussing about culture. Soon Kavita ma'am will discuss you about cultural trait, cultural pattern, culture complexes, etc. But simply I will just tell you, what do you mean by culture? Many times in rural areas, if they see a girl wearing tight fit jeans and a top, they'll say, she is cultureless. See what she is wearing. But they are very wrong in saying that she is cultureless. There is not we cannot say like something like that. And there are many in our country who keep speaking about conservation of culture. They want to conserve the culture. But as an anthropologist, soon you will be in a position to understand that the very important and very basic aspect of a culture is dynamic and culture keeps changing. Culture is dynamic. Culture keeps changing and nobody can put a break for this. It is not always possible to conserve something in culture. If you want to conserve, think about conserving the environment. Think about conserving the nature, soil, water. Even that is not possible. Things keep evolving over time. And the very aspect of culture is dynamic. Culture keeps changing and we cannot think about conserving something. Okay, so what is culture? So culture includes both material as well as a non-material aspect. We discussed about E.B. Taylor. E.B. Taylor, he first gave a very fantastic definition for culture. According to him, culture is a complex whole which includes moral, belief, knowledge, art, custom, etc., which man acquires as being a part of a society. So culture includes all the things. It includes your moral, it includes your belief, it includes your knowledge, art, custom, faith, etc., everything which man acquires as being a part of or being a member of a society. So culture is learned. I will give you one simple example. Mowgli. Who is Mowgli? Our Jungle Book hero. He was left there in the middle of a jungle. He was left there in the middle of a jungle. And he was just growing with the animals there. Is it possible for him to make his own language and speak? It is not possible. So the language which we speak, right, we have learned it from our parents, our friends, our teachers, our neighbors, or from our society, from the similar people. So this particular language, be it English, be it Marathi, be it Gujarati, be it Konkani, Bengali, Punjabi, Hindi, whatever may be the thing. So our people who lived before us, maybe 1,000 years ago, they made this language. And this was passed on to every successive generation. And in every generation, they will receive this aspect of culture from the previous generation. They will keep it with themselves. They will enrich that and they will pass it on to the next generation. Mowgli, being in a jungle, he had no opportunity to learn anything from his parents or from human beings. So there was no possibility for him to learn culture. On the other hand, our Yale Chirma, being a part of Meghalaya, I think he speaks Kasi language or Jaintia language. Please tell me which language you speak. Or Gokul Gopi. Or Gokul Gopi, just now you said good morning, good afternoon, yeah, good. Gokul Gopi, right, he being a part of Kerala, he learned Malayalam from his parents, from his teachers, from his siblings, and from the people who live there in Kerala. So, culture is learned. We being a part of a society, we learn things. This is what makes the culture. See, the art of making cloth. In one generation, is it possible for somebody to make his own culture? No, it is not possible. In one generation, right, or Mowgli, it is not possible for him to learn the art of how to raise a cotton crop and how to extract lint out of that, how to make it into a fiber, and how they can stitch it into a cloth. Correct? But on the other hand, few thousand years ago, our ancestors, through trial and error, they learned the art of raising a cotton crop, extracting fiber, making fine thread, and this art of making cloth, right, it got evolved over time. In every single generation, we managed to improve it, and now we have very fine, very good quality dress materials which gives ultra fine comfort for us when we wear it. So we have borrowed this trait from our previous generation. And in this generation, we'll be enriching it. How will we be enriching it? We'll be tearing it here, we'll be tearing it here, the pants here and there, and we'll pass it on to the next generation as a new style. Same is the case with the language. English as a language, right? It's some 1500 years old. Some 1500 years old. And in our current generation, what we are doing? We are enriching the language. We are adding number of vocabulary. We are adding. If Shakespeare sees this, right, he will be, hey, what is this? Are you writing in English? What is this, man? Laughing out loud, rolling on the floor laughing. Take your own time. The way in which we are manipulating the language, right? That is happening in our current generation. Nowhere it happened. And we do not know how we are going to pass it on to the next generation. Most of the time, right, even while writing a letter or something, I'm now, by mistake, that I'm using a number of shortcuts. So, culture is learned. Culture may be both material as well as non-material. The dress which I wear, the food which I eat, these are material aspects of culture. The values which I have, if I say elderly person, right, crossing the road, I'll stop my vehicle, let him go. We all are comfortable here, all because of their hard work some 2-3 generations back. So we need to respect that. So these are the values which we have. These are our values, our morals, even the language which we speak. We cannot touch the language which we speak, right? So these are non-material or non-tangible aspects of language. Guys, are you comfortable with these two things? Tangible. Tangible means we can touch that. Or material aspects. Non-tangible and non-material aspects of culture. Okay, so I have just introduced you to what exactly we mean by culture. There are, hereafter it will be discussed a hell lot of things about this culture, civilization, etc. So do not worry about this thing. Okay, so functionalists, they gave one approach in the study of culture. According to Malinowski, every aspect of culture has some function. Every aspect, be it the food which we eat, be it the dress which we wear, be it the language which we speak, be it of the gods which we worship. Every aspect has some function, and that function is to meet the human needs. What these needs are, how we are classifying the needs, and then how he tried to explain his functionalism through a charter of an institution that we'll be discussing in the culture theory. Now let us just focus on his approach on the study of religion alone. Functionalist approach in the study of religion alone. So according to Malinowski, the function of religion is to relieve the human mind from stress and anxiety. So that single-mindedly people can focus on their activities which they are doing. So there are number of real life situations which creates too much of panic. There are number of real life situations which actually creates panic. I'll tell you one example. So there were time when even our Punjabi Sardars, even they have committed suicide because of distress in agriculture, mainly because of the failure of a cotton plant. In cotton, there is one pest, we call it as bollworm. Very notoriously, this is called as a Heliothis. The green color worm. So when at the flower stage, the adult moth, what it will do, it will just lay eggs here in this. Puncture it and it will lay eggs into this. Eggs will be there inside. And it is the ovary which will develop into the cotton pod. It will develop. And inside this there will be lint. Correct? But the larva will also be inside this. I will tell you to what extent this insect had developed resistance to pesticides. I have seen in a weak solution of endosulfan. Endosulfan is one of the very most toxic of, it's a very toxic chemical used in agriculture. In a weak solution of endosulfan, this larva can swim. If we drink that, we will die. Okay, this larva, right, our farmer, without knowing that there is one insect inside this, he will be applying manure, he will be controlling the weeds, and he will be spraying lot of pesticides also. But this insect has lot of resistance. Using our insecticides, we can kill only 1 out of 10 insect. And this will live concealed inside and it will not be visible also. Some 15 or 20 days before the harvest, when the lint matures, that time this larva will make one hole and it will come out. And if you open it, nothing will be there. There will be no lint inside. And even if it is there, it will get spoiled. We cannot use that. So if one farmer, thanks to the BT cotton, in our science and technology class, we'll discuss in length about what is this BT, Bacillus thuringiensis, BT cotton. Now we are in a position to control this pest. But had it been not the case, think about our farmer. Will he be in a position to single-mindedly think about doing the cultivation? He says, how much money I have borrowed, I'm investing everything into this crop. What will happen if the pest comes and damages my crop during the harvest time? This stress and anxiety will ruin him completely, and that will spoil his health. Same is the case with our prelims. Every year, right, 1 year they will ask only from geography. In 1 year, there will be no questions from history. And some science questions they will keep asking. And this year they have asked a few questions about some award which Tiger Woods got in the year 2000. These are a bit too much, right? So if I keep worrying about this thing, God, what is this? If they keep asking questions like this, what will happen, what I will do, if I keep thinking about this, will it be possible for him to single-mindedly think about doing his activity, agriculture, or you guys preparing for the prelims? So before doing everything, you just offer a prayer. Go to God, just pray before Him. God, please, I'm going to do this. Please save me. And in villages, in rural India, there are a number of detailed rituals which people will be following before the start of a cropping season. These rituals which they do, the prayers which they do, that will give them a lot of confidence, that will remove all the factors of stress and anxiety from their mind. Now they will become fearless and without any having secondary thought, they can think about focusing on the economic activities. So relieving the fear, stress and anxiety out of the human mind. That was the very important function of religion according to Malinowski. This is true. This fear factor, right, it will not allow people to do any activity. And it's not just an individual who is going to suffer. Sometimes that entire village, that entire society, right, they may get panicked and things won't go proper. Anxiety may affect an entire village. I'll tell you some real life example. My town was the second worst affected town during the tsunami of 2004. It was a big catastrophe, in fact. I was not there in my town, and when I heard about that, I just called my mom to ask her what exactly was happening. They didn't call me because I will panic. The way in which she replied, oh my God, no, we are not in a position to speak anything. Do not worry, we are safe. But 2-3 villages got wiped away completely. And right now I heard that there are close to around 200 to 300 dead bodies there in our general hospital. The condition becomes so pathetic, and never ever they have heard about such a event. And for the next 1 month, the fishermen didn't venture into the ocean for fishing. Fear gripped them. They were having a lot of panic, and nobody even thought about, no, we are not going to take our boats, we are not going for fishing. During that time, our district collector, Mr. Gagandeep Singh Bedi, what a great IAS. This is what an IAS is, an Indian Administrative Service. People keep saying, even our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji, he said recently in the parliament that what this IAS, whether they can do anything, they can fly a aeroplane or what. It matters a lot to be an IAS, and they are altogether a different class people. We cannot find such a class there. Even if you are not there, once when you become an IAS, the way in which you are going to change, it's altogether different it will be. So there are many things to speak about that great officer. See, he went to the fisherman's hamlet and he asked them, what's happening, man? Why you are not going to fish? It's all over. You need to come back to normal, right? Why you are not doing it? They said, sir, we fear a lot. If you look at the ocean, it's incredible. We saw in front of our eyes people dying here. They are good swimmers, but even they couldn't protect against this ocean surge, against the tsunami. He said, right, nothing like that. Do not worry. Things have returned to normal. If you fear a lot, I'll do one thing. I will come with you in the boat. Come, I will take the boat with you. Come. He did it. He went, he boarded a boat, asked them, start the boat. Let us go into the ocean. Without any life jacket, right? He went there. And the fishermen also followed him. And when they came back, right, press people asked them, sir, what, sir, without any fear, you just ventured into the ocean? Our Sardarji, he said, I have stuffs, man. Even in the middle of the ocean, if the boat capsized, from there I can swim to the shore. So he altogether changed the morale of the people. From the very next day, they started going into the ocean. The same thing was the case in our next district. And the next district collector also, a nice gentleman he was also, but he was not a good swimmer. He said, okay, I will also come, let us take the boat. But good, the local people advised him, sir, you do not know fish, you do not know swimming, better go with a life jacket. Then he took their advice, he wore a life jacket, and he went there into the ocean. Ocean water, right, it will not be so still like a lake. The way in which that water will be moving, a boat will not go straight like this. It will be just oscillating like this, like this, like this, like this, like this in the ocean. He fell into the water. And when he went, even press also went with them. And the entire thing was caught live. How he fell into the water, how the fishermen dragged him, pulled him from the water and kept him in the boat. But still, whatever may be the thing, we need to appreciate his courage. And things have changed immediately. Even the fishermen, they have lost the fear and they started moving into the ocean. So these people, right, acted like a god now. They acted like a god, both these IAS officers, in relieving the fear, stress and anxiety from the minds of the people, so that they have forgot everything and started doing the work. Similarly, according to Malinowski, the function of religion is to relieve the human mind from stress and anxiety, so that people will single-handedly or single-mindedly think about doing their economic activity or whatever may be the activity. Be it hunting, be it gathering, be it foraging, be it pastoralism, whatever they do. Okay. So the next functionalist, Ratcliffe Brown, they both were contemporary, both Ratcliffe Brown and Malinowski. Again, a British anthropologist. We have discussed in length about Malinowski yesterday, but I didn't introduce you to Ratcliffe Brown. Ratcliffe Brown, right, he was the student of two great anthropologists. William H.R. Rivers and Seligman, two great British anthropologists. So the W.H.R. Rivers and Seligman, they were a part of one expedition. That expedition was very famously called as Torres Strait Expedition. So before that, guys, tell me, what do you mean by a strait? S-T-R-A-I-T, strait. Is it something straight? Strait means that is a narrow stretch of water body which divides two large landmass. Here in this region, this is Strait of Malacca. Malacca Strait, M-A-L-A-C-C-A, Malacca Strait. This is one among the very famous straits in the world because all the eastbound ships are supposed to pass through this Strait of Malacca. This is a very congested strait, this is, and once it was notoriously known for pirates also. But because of the combined action of many countries right now, this area is totally under control. Singapore is strategically located in this strait. That's what made it a very fantastic city state. Torres Strait is here. This is Torres Strait. The strait which separates Papua New Guinea. This is Papua New Guinea. Part of this is Indonesia and part is Papua New Guinea and Australia. This is Torres Strait. And this expedition is also called as a Torres Strait expedition. And these people, they were about to, after starting from Europe, they were just focusing on, their aim was to study the primitive people or the primitive culture along this area, India, Sri Lanka, this Andaman and Nicobar, this group of islands, Philippines, Indonesia, Java, here, and few Pacific islands. It was an expedition, they just came there. It was during this process for the first time, W.H.R. Rivers studied the Todas of Nilgiris, T-O-D-A-S, Todas of Nilgiris. They have also spent some time in Andaman and Nicobar Islands before venturing further. But after returning back to Europe, both Seligman and W.H.R. Rivers, they felt that we should have spent much more time with the tribes here in the Andaman Islands. Guys, what is so special about the tribes here? Kavita ma'am will discuss in length. Here there is one island called as a North Sentinel and South Sentinel Islands. These are those islands. North and South Sentinel Islands. Here, right, we have one tribe called as Sentinelese. The Sentinelese are the only living Paleolithic people in the world. They are living in islands. They remain untouched from the other human activities. They had no clue about the human development in other parts of the world. They had no idea about Smith Joshi is also speaking about Sentinelese. Good man, good. Sentinelese. They have no idea about any technology, nothing. They were living in Stone Age and they are yet to use any metal. But they are very sharp shooters. They have bow and arrow, and recently they killed one American who want to venture near them. Many say that his intention was to convert the Sentinelese into Christianity. But we are not very sure about his intention. Whether that was intention, we are not sure about that. But he wanted to venture into one land which is prohibited for human entry. He tried there, but a very pathetic thing happened to him. Okay. So once when they returned back to Europe, they both felt that we should have spent some more time here in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So they trained their student Ratley Brown. Ratley Brown, please you go there to Andaman Island. We will train you. And do not worry, these islands were already colonized by our British. They even have one jail there. A number of serving officers are there, naval officers, as well as administrative officers. They will help you. They will provide you a translator. You just go and study them. So Ratley Brown also came here. And for more than 2 years, he spent time with the tribes here. This was for the first time one anthropologist spent considerable time studying one single tribe. Study the culture of one single tribe. Okay, I told you about strait. Right, Malacca Strait, all these things. Ratley Brown. So Ratley Brown, he is also a functionalist. He also gave one functional approach in the study of religion, but he exactly spoke the opposite function of what Malinowski spoke. According to Ratley Brown, the function of the religion is to create fear in the minds of the people. To create fear in the mind of the people so that they will adhere or they will follow the rules in the society. See, so until the human population was very much limited, until human beings lived in small random bands moving here and there, maybe some 10,000 years ago or 12,000 years ago, a conflict was kept at minimum because struggle against the environment itself was a very big struggle. So people didn't have time to fight among themselves or fight against each other. But with the advent of technology, with the advent of agriculture, when the population started exploding, and then people had a lot of leisure also because of surplus production, they started fighting among themselves. Fighting for girls, fighting for ladies, fighting for wealth, etc. became very, very common. So now if this fight is allowed to continue, they are making huge weapons, tools, and if this fight is allowed to continue, then that will put an end to humankind itself. One day everyone will kill each other and there will be no human beings on earth. So there was one felt need that every society need to maintain its social order. So every society we are forced to make rules or norms or the expected behavior. Or the expected behavior. Rules are the expected behavior. And simply if you make a rule, during ancient time we had no police, no law and order, we had no jails, no court, etc. to establish the rule of law. So how we can make the people to follow the rules? Religion is a very important source. So you create fear in the minds of the people using religion. So you should not copy in the exam that Ganesh will puncture your eyes. Keep saying, right? So simply if you say you should not kill the snake, right? Go and kill the snake, they will say. But you make it as a god. Then we can make the people to adhere to the norms. So we can create fear in the minds of the people so that people will follow the norms established in a society. So according to Ratcliffe Brown, the function of religion is to create fear in the minds of the people so that people will adhere to or people will follow the rules or norms established in a society. Guys, are you comfortable with the functionalist approach in the study of religion? Hopefully. Okay. So the next thing is psychological approach. The very famous one given by Sigmund Freud. You need to pronounce him as Sigmund Freud. So he was a very important he proposed a number of interesting theory in psychology. And the most important being the Oedipus complex and the Electra complex. Oedipus complex. So Oedipus, right, in a Greek myth, he falls in love with some random lady and he marries him only later to find that she is known but his own. She is Oedipus' mother. Oedipus complex, Electra complex, we even have a Freudian syndrome. So this states that sexual attraction for any individual This is not true. This is a school of thought. This is a theory given by Sigmund Freud. This is not always true. Okay, and this was a very controversial theory given by a very controversial thinking or controversial school given by Sigmund Freud, which was criticized by many. So, according to Sigmund Freud, see, the Oedipus complex means sexual attraction for any individual starts from within the nuclear family. From within the nuclear family towards the people of opposite sex. And later, when they grow up, this sexual attraction gets extended to people outside the nuclear family. So that means a boy develops a sexual attraction over his own mother, a girl develops sexual attraction over her own father, and as she grows up, this attraction gets extended to the people outside the nuclear family. This was very seriously criticized. So Sigmund Freud, right? That's a controversial thing. There is no need to discuss about Oedipus complex, Electra complex here. Let us just focus only on his approach in the study of religion. Sigmund Freud, in his book in the year 1913, he published one very famous book, Totem and Taboo. In this book, he illustrated that totemism was the most primitive form of religion. Let it be, but his approach, right, was a slightly controversial thing. So, according to Sigmund Freud, early man lived in a horde. Early man lived in hordes. So horde means a group of people, maybe a group of 20, 30 or maybe 40. So within a horde, the seniormost male, he monopolized all the women within the horde. He monopolized all the women. So he said every single woman belongs to me here, and he had access over all the women for sex. And even when his own sons, when they came of age, he drove them out of the horde, saying, if you stay here, you will certainly disturb my monopoly over this woman. So he drove them out. Once all the brothers who were driven out of the horde by the father, they all joined hands. Hey, how come this guy alone claims a monopoly over all the women here? And they all joined hands and they killed him. This killing and eating you need to mention, because we are going to write the theory given by Sigmund Freud. So in his theory, he mentions about killing and eating. So we need to mention that. After killing, they also cooked and ate him, it seems. So now they had access over the woman inside the group. But that always led to serious conflict and violence. And one fine day they felt very wrong for their action. Is it for these ladies that we killed our father? That guy, right, he only taught us how to do agriculture, how to do hunting, how to live as a good human being. But one fine day, right, we did a mistake by killing him. So immediately what they did, they put a ban on marriage within the group. No, nobody is going to access any woman here. If you want to do, go and get married to someone from some other group. And immediately they also raised a flag of their father. And they started worshipping him as a totem. I'll just explain you what you mean by totem shortly. Okay. This is how religion originated according to Sigmund Freud. Guys, these are just theories. See, we have discussed about various approaches where we have discussed a number of theories about the origin of caste. So once when we have theory, it means there are multiple school of thought. Multiple school of thought. But how it rains in the tropical regions during summer? Every day in the morning in the tropical regions. You can see it in Kerala, you can see it in Sri Lanka and parts of TN also. Early morning there will be bright sunshine. In the afternoon, skies will be filled with cumulonimbus clouds. In the evening, cumulonimbus clouds, cauliflower shaped clouds. And evening it will rain with the lightning and thunder, and next day morning again the same thing will repeat. So we know what is the mechanism behind this type of rainfall. So we do not have a theory here, but instead we have an hypothesis or law. So if there is a hypothesis or if there is a law, that means something is proved here beyond any doubt. Beyond any doubt, we know how it rains there in this region. So we have a law here. We have a hypothesis. On the other hand, if you do not know what exactly is the reason behind one particular happening, then there will be a number of theories. If you say there is a theory, it means there is something which is not proved, and that's why we have multiple school of thought. Same is the case with religion. Nobody knows exactly how it originated. That's why we have different theories and different school of thought here. Got it? I hope you are comfortable with the various anthropological approaches in the study of religion. The evolutionary approach, functionalist approach, and the psychological approach. While discussing this, I have also discussed about animism. And if somebody wrote, I asked you to write one essay about animism. If somebody earlier write our girl Suchishmita Paul, I just gave an assignment and she wrote a very fantastic assignment about dowry system. I just really like this type of courage in you, or the hard work which you do, right? This is what motivates us to teach you better and better. Okay, fine. So we got discussed about animism also. So now let us discuss the other forms of religion found in primitive and peasant, tribal and peasant societies. So now let us discuss about the other one form of religion, that is totemism. This is something very, very important in anthropology. Is what I am writing, it is visible, right? What I am writing here. Okay, fine. Totemism. So what is totemism? Totemism is one form of a primitive religion. Primitive religion. Here, a group of people and who are organized into clan-based social organization. Clan-based social organization. They consider that they have descended from one common ancestor. One common ancestor. This common ancestor might have lived long back, or he might have died. They will not be in a position to identify who was that common ancestor. And sometimes they may assume that they have descended from an animal or a plant. Now this animal or a plant becomes the totem, and worshipping of this animal, right, this is called as a totemism. So before going in depth into what is totemism, so let me explain you what this clan is. In earlier topics, right, in kinship, I have discussed you few things about lineage and clan, but once again I will tell you what this is. Lineage. So lineage is a small social grouping formed based on kinship. Even now, if you go to villages in agricultural areas, we can see a group of kinsmen living together. They all will be united by the kinship bonds. I'll tell you one example. There's one person here, he got married and he's having 1, 2, 3 sons. They are also married and they are also having kids. His brother, even he will be here. He may even have one more brother. Then their grandfather, his brothers. So this is one social grouping, right? So they all may live together and they'll have some sort of affinity. They will not live in a single home. Okay, there may be some 10 or 15 small houses where they all will live. But they all know that they all descended from one common ancestor who might have lived some 5 or 6 generations ago. They even know who that person is. Who that person is. Ramasamy, Munsamy, or whoever may be. So all these people, right, they are descendants of Ramasamy. Here everyone, right, they all are known to each other. This girl knows who this boy is, who this lady is, who this man is, and how she is related to these people. So everyone here know each other and they also know who is their ancestor. This social grouping is called as lineage. Lineage is a small social grouping. Here they can cite and demonstrate who their ancestors are. Sometimes, right, under some circumstances, few lineages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or some 8 lineages living in a particular region, they may fuse together to form one clan. Fusion of few lineages forms one clan. So there may be a number of real life reasons for which, right, people may fuse together. It may be a common threat, or it may be some common activity which they need to undergo, or it may be for some political reason, or whatever may be the reason, right? If few lineages fuse, they form a clan. So again, members of a clan, even they consider that they all have descended from one common ancestor. They all have descended from one common ancestor. So they all have descended from one common ancestor. But now there is one issue here. Everyone within the clan, right, may not be known to each other. So there will be one person, he may not know one person here. There will be one person, he will not be knowing one in this group. So everyone will not be known to each other. At the same time, the assumed common ancestry, even that they cannot cite and demonstrate. They will not be in a position to identify who exactly was their ancestor and when he lived. So these people, right, they just assume, they just stipulate that they have descended from some common ancestor. and they may assume that common ancestor may be a plant or an animal. So guys, now are you okay with the difference between lineage and a clan? At lineage level, there is no need to have a totem because they know who is their ancestor. If they claim that we have descended from a frog or a cat, their grandparents will get angry. Hey, don't you know? Ramasamy is our ancestor. We all have descended from him. How you can tell like that? But at clan level, as people, the population is a bit large, and as they couldn't identify who their ancestors were, then they stipulate that they have descended from some common ancestor, which may be a plant or an animal, and now this plant or this animal becomes the totem. And worshipping of the totem is the totemism. So while worshipping, what are the things people will do? Number one, they'll make artistic representation of the totem on their body. What they will do, they will not tattoo these objects on their bodies. So, say even now in villages, how many of you have seen this particular thing? In villages, we can see old ladies in the age of 65, 70, 75, even they will go for tattooing. And they always have some pride to carry some tattoo on their body. These are present day remains of totemism. Totemism in pure form, right? Nowhere it is found. Artistic representation of the totem in the body. They may carry it as a tattoo in their body. They may draw it on their body. Okay, then they will raise a flag of the totem. So they will raise a flag, and wherever they go, they carry that flag with them. They also go for periodic collective worshipping of the totem. So once in a year, once in a while, they will organize a separate festival for the totem, and they will have a huge celebration. Then killing or disturbing the totem becomes a big taboo. Taboo means these are activities which are prohibited in a society. For example, in the North Indian plains, killing a cow is a taboo. That is a prohibited activity. Killing a cow is a prohibited activity. Okay. So these are the very important characteristics of totemism. So why they do it? As I told you, within a clan, all the members are not known to each. There is one clan here, there is another clan here, one more clan here. All these people are not known to each other. Suppose, right, they all may be indulging in some hunting, and this may create some conflict while they are moving. So without knowing, right, that they belong to their own clan, they may start fighting among themselves. And once, right, when they see the flag, or once when they look at the tattoo in their object, tattoo in their body, they'll say, hey, you belong to my clan. You belong to my clan. So we will not fight. Okay, you want this animal, right? Yeah, please take it. So there is some sort of utility here. And every individual need to show a lot of respect to the totem. If you are not giving respect to the totem, it means you are not respecting your society. Indirectly, right, by worshipping a totem, people here are made to worship the society. This is totemism. And the totemism was one thing, right, one particular aspect of religion which confused our anthropologists since a very long term. Because the term totem itself, right, got introduced into English by one English merchant by a mistake. It happened in USA. Originally, right, totem means, it was derived from one Ojibwa word. O-J-I-B-W-A. They're a tribe who live in Canada and USA near the Great Lake regions. Near the Great Lake regions. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. I hope by this time we should be comfortable with these Great Lakes of USA. They live here. It's a Ojibwa, right? They use a term called as Watotomen, which means one's brother's sister's kin. Watotomen, he is my brother's son. She is my brother's wife. She is my brother's cousin. Brother sister-in-law. She is my sister's son. So that kinship term is called as Watotomen. Once when they say that he or she is related to him through his brother or sister, it means he cannot marry her. He cannot marry her. So this is the meaning between the term Watotomen. But one English merchant, excuse me, introduced this term by a mistake. Totem, which means the guardian spirit. Guardian spirit of an individual or of a group which appears in the form of an animal. Which appears in the form of animal. So these people, right, they worship this particular animal. So that means this animal contains a spirit, a guardian spirit, which protects this community. So that is how this term was introduced in English, but it was a misnomer. Okay, so this particular aspect, totemism, right, was very much confusing and misleading until William Weiser published a very famous paper about totemism. Earlier, Emile Durkheim, he did lot of work among the Australian Aborigines about the totemism, about the Australian native people. But it was the Alexander Golden Weiser, who explained that totemism to some extent in a correct way. According to him, totemism exists in three important ways. That is, one, it is associated with number one, clan organization. Then number two, here clan takes name from plants and animals. Or they make their emblem out of plants or animals. Then they believe that there is a relationship between the groups and the totem. He said all the things may exist together or they may exist independently also. Okay. Earlier, Emile Durkheim, the very famous French sociologist he is, many even call, he is referred as the founder of French sociology. So according to him, he claims he was in search of the most primitive form of religion from where religion originated, and he found Manikanta, that last aspect of totemism is, see, I will just brief you about that shortly. So once when a particular clan declares that this is the totem, then they'll have lot of reverence for the totem. It is their duty to protect the totem. They will not disturb that. They will not kill that. And if somebody comes and disturbs the totem, right, they will not leave them. They have lot of reverence. They worship that as a god. Worship that as a god. Even more than what is a god, more than a god. For them, for the entire society, the totem matters a lot. Okay, so Emil Durkheim, right, he found that according to him, totemism was one of the most primitive form of religion. Maybe religion might have originated from more totemism, and totemism, according to him, right, reflects group consciousness. Group or clan consciousness. By identifying themselves to a particular totem, they are identifying themselves with a particular society, with a particular group. By worshipping a totem, indirectly here a man worships his society. That's the most important aspect which he discusses actually. So, here it is the group conscious which is manifested in this form of religion, totemism. So, by worshipping a totem, here people worship their society. And it is something very much essential for the survival of the society. But Franz Boas, the great American anthropologist, and again, there are many things to discuss about Franz Boas. E.L. Chirmang, what is your doubt about Ototoman? If you say Ototoman, that is a kinship term which says, he is my brother's relative, she is my sister's relative. That we mean by Ototoman. The importance of the term is, if they say that somebody belongs to their brother's kin or sister's kin, they will not marry. And exogamy is a very important aspect of totemism and clan that I will be briefing you now. Okay. Franz Boas, right, he said that some form of totemism, right, may found in every single primitive religion, and there is no single common origin for totemism. And we cannot just group these alone are the characteristics of totemism. We cannot just make some generalization. Totemism, right, in one form or other, may present in every single society. So even in Hinduism, people practice worshipping of animals, like snake cult is there. Even Garuda, eagle is also considered to be, technically that is Brahmini's kite. Even that is worshipped as a god. Worshipped as a god. Many animals are worshipped as god. But it doesn't mean that all these are totemism. Some forms of totemism may be found here and there, and we cannot just fix these are the characteristics of totemism. Everywhere if people practice totemism, this should be the rule. No, there's nothing like that. Okay, and one very interesting thing which was discovered later was, wherever we find totemism associated with a clan, so now this clan will have a totem, these people, they practice exogamy. So when clan and totem are found together, exogamy, that is marrying outside one's group. So they will not marry within the same clan. If there is a boy, they will find a girl for him from some other clan only. exogamy automatically becomes a rule. So now you take one small flow chart like this: totemism, clan, and exogamy. So when totemism and clan are, you can see in a particular place, exogamy automatically becomes a rule. Exogamy automatically becomes a rule. So guys, now I have just gave you a lot of material for totemism, 1 page to close around 2.5 page. But generally write down. In your examination, they will ask you to write about totemism for at the maximum for 250 words. So I just want you to write one small assignment about totemism in around in less than 300 words. So what are all the things you are supposed to write into us? There are number of things I have written here. So everything you cannot go and write in your examination. So what are the things it should be there in this answer? Totemism. Number one, what is totemism? Clan, ancestors, okay, how they consider a plant or an animal as a totem. Then characteristics of characteristics, in which you can write about the plant or animal as a totem, that artistic representation of the totem on their body, raising a flag of the totem, periodic collective worshipping of the totem. Okay, and then how the killing or disturbing becomes a taboo. Then about the origin of the term totem. Just in 2 or 3 statements, write that. Then the most important thing is about the contribution of Golden Visor, number 1, number 2, Emile Durkheim, the third one is Franz Boas. Okay, so can you write one small essay, small assignment about totemism? Please write that in a matter of less than 300 words and submit it to me. Okay, good. Then now take a break. So I will take a break for 5 minutes and let us come and discuss the other aspects of primitive religion. So I have given you one example of Birhor that I will just discuss now itself before taking a break, just 2 minutes. Birhor. They live in the Chotanagpur Plateau, now in Jharkhand, parts of Jharkhand, Orissa, Chhattisgarh. Okay, there are close to around 37 clans, of which 12 clans they take the name from animals, 10 from plants, 8 from Hindu caste and localities, from local names. Okay, so Birhor, they think that there is a temperamental or physical similarity between a member and the clan. If somebody somebody takes a bird as a clan, these people, they keep thinking about flying. If somebody takes tiger as a clan, they'll always be aggressive, ready to attack others. There is some temperamental similarity. If somebody takes cow as the totem, that's a docile animal, right? Even people will be very soft. They believe. So there is a similarity between the temperament and the totem. And how these people worship it. You can just go through it. And I've also given you one more example that is from these people, the Kepli of Liberia. Here, there are three types of totem here. Totem related to things of possession, things of birth, and they also have individual totem, not just for the group, even for individuals they will be having totem. There are number of things. Even we have sex totems. That means within a society, for males there will be one totem, and for females they will have other totem. There are too many things here. About totemism alone, right, we can write one huge book. But see what best you can write in 300 words. Try that. Okay. So I will get back to you in a matter of 5 minutes. Okay. Take a break.